Welcome back to This Morning. Now, our next guest is one of the greatest musicians of all time. But today, Sir Brian May joins us to talk about an issue very close to his heart.
Yes, for the past 14 years, Brian has been working tirelessly to abolish the culling of badgers, which has seen 250,000 killed in the last decade alone.
The British badger is our largest remaining land predator. These intelligent, fascinating creatures lead very private lives. To me, a world without badgers is a terrible prospect. How did the TB get into the herd in the first place?
The only thing I can think of is, brought in by badgers.
In my view, the cull is an enormous red herring.
We don't want to kill anything, but you've seen what happens when you lose a good animal.
Do you think the new approach is killing badgers, which we've been doing for 30 years?
I don't think that killing badgers is the final answer by any means. But if they will not give us any other option, you put yourself in our position.
Well, I'm saying they should give you another option. I'm saying they should be working out how to protect your herd against any infection.
Thank you very much, Brian.
We're delighted to say that Sir Brian May joins us right now. Brian, why are the badgers being culled? Tell us a little bit about it.
They're being culled because they are under suspicion of spreading bovine TB, a horrible disease in cattle. I've always doubted it from 20 years ago, I suppose, and I always wanted to find out what the truth was, because you're talking about, as you said, 250,000 badgers that have been killed. And countless cows, of course, have been taken out because the disease is actually out of control still after all this time. And in some ways, that tells you how effective the badger cull is. In other words, not effective. But we set out, it's not just about me, the documentaries, you can probably already see. A lot of farmers speaking about their problems and their heartaches. A lot of mental health in farmers. It's a terrible thing for farmers and their families to be dealing with. But I'm there in the beginning to try and save the badgers. And, of course, once you get into it, you realise you have to save the farmers as well. Because the common enemy is TB.
Yeah.
That's what we're fighting.
Yeah.
So for the first... And when we came into it, me and Anne, my lovely CEO of Save Me, we came into... Everyone was shouting at each other, like the animal people were shouting at the farmers are protesting about the animal people, stopping them solving their problems. So what we did was we tried to bring the two sides together, which had never been done before. Let's find out the truth. So it's me and Anne, and it's a wonderful farmer in Devon called Robert Reed. We went to his farm and we've collaborated with him the last 10 years or so. And it's been amazing. The stuff I've learned is beyond belief. And his incredible vet, Dick Sibley, a very gifted man, we started from the very bottom. We didn't make any assumptions. We said, let's try this, let's see, let's do the experiment. Robert Reed's farm had been down for 6 years, which means he can't trade. His animals are dying. Every time they come and do the skin test on his herd, he loses animals. They go off to the slaughter. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
So he came in with us. He resisted the temptation to cull his badgers. He actually paid the culling company, but he said, you're not coming on my land, I'm doing this a different way. And together, this Gatcombe team, it's Gatcombe Farm in Devon, we turned his farm from a chronically infected herd into a TB-free zone. He got his TB-free certificate after 3 years.
That's incredible.
And it's a long story. You'll see it in the documentary, but a lot of stuff happens because he then sits there and he's got a certificate to say he's TB-free, but he knows, because we've used enhanced testing, he knows that the herd is actually not free of TB. It's still in there somewhere hiding, because that's what TB does. But unfortunately, he wasn't allowed to carry on with the testing that we were doing once he's got the TB-free certificate, which is nonsense, really. That's one of the things we want to see changed.
It's so emotional, and you can see it. You get a sense of that while watching the clips, that it is obviously really emotional.
Highly emotional.
You've always had such an affinity with animals.
Yeah.
You always have. But why are you so passionate about this? Why are you so passionate about badgers?
I guess it's the injustice. You know, a lot of animals are abused for various reasons. And I think as a race, as a human race, we abuse animals terribly. And I've always thought that. I've always thought we have the wrong relationship with the creatures with which we share this planet. But when it's something which is so wanton, you're talking about thousands of animals being killed, and the result is nothing. I mean, I suspected this in the beginning, but you'll see in the documentary, we now have so much evidence to show that the badgers are not to blame anyway.
Yeah.
So they've been culling them in some places for years and years. I've talked to farmers out there who said, look, we've killed all our badgers here. There's no more badgers to kill. And the problem is as bad as it's ever been. So what does that tell you? So there's lots of little clues along the way. The other clue, I'm talking too much, really.
No, you're not.
I want you to see the documentary.
That's what you're here for. It's great.
But I'll tell you, the thing which woke us up was we managed to clear up the herd, like I told you, and we did it without killing any badgers. We were supposed to vaccinate the badgers. That was our part of the deal. Robert and his vet clear up the herd. We clear up the badgers all around.
Right.
At the end of the 4 years, 3 years, whatever, the herd was clear, completely healthy cattle herd. But the badgers were still infected. Now, if the myth is true, the badgers should have been reinfecting the cows, but they didn't.
Right.
So that immediately tells you the badgers have nothing to do with it in this case.
Do you know what it is that is spreading the TB if it's not the badgers? Is there anything you suspect on that side of things?
We have it. It's going to sound very big-headed, but we think we cracked it. We have seen what the routes of transmission of the disease really are. They're within the herd. They're within the slurry. Slurry is poo, you know, and the cows generally, in many cases, in the mornings particularly, are paddling around in their own poo. So if one cow has got the disease, they've all got it.
Right.
So that's one of the routes of transmission. We've seen transmission from mother to baby. That's another route of transmission. And we've seen people bringing in infected animals to an otherwise clean herd. And they'll say, look, this is a closed herd. It's clean, nothing can get in. But we brought a bull in to breed.
Right.
And you go, oh, and was the bull tested? Yeah, the bull was tested, but by the skin test, which we know actually is only about 50% effective. So it's highly likely that the pathogen came in with the bull and then spread through the herd. So yes, we know.
It's a difficult one. It really, really is. We've got to say we've got a right of reply from DEFRA. It says this UK government will roll out a TB eradication package, including vaccination, herd management and biosecurity measures to achieve our objective of getting bovine TB-free status and end badger culling.
And we've got one from the Farmers Union as well that says the programme ignores all the independent peer-reviewed science. We can't put into words the emotional, mental strain that bovine TB puts on farming families and the impact that it has on their cattle and their businesses. We have a joint ambition with the government to be TB-free in England by 2038.
Interesting.
Do I get the right to reply? No, probably not.
You're here. You're here.
All I can say is, you know, watch the
you do.
documentary and you'll see if we ignore anything. You know, and we're very much concerned with the farmers. You know, Robert's become one of our best friends now, and we do anything for him. And I think, you know, he's now the same as we are. We converged. We came in with completely different views of the subject. Rob was like, the bloody badgers are doing this, you know. Now he's like, don't talk to me about badgers. Talk to me about what we're doing in the herd to clear this up. So it's spreading, and he has a lot of other farmers are coming around. I mean, the farmers kind of didn't like me in the beginning because who am I? You know, I'm a rock star. What the hell do I know about it? But now they know that I'm serious and they know that we have new evidence.
And your passion.
We have a passion, but we have evidence that the badgers are not to blame. We have evidence that we can find proper ways to clean up these herds and get rid of TB forever.
It's just good to get everyone on the same page, essentially.
Yeah.
That's all we want. We want to get people
There's
discussing.
a problem to be solved.
That was our thing, yeah.
You're not ready to give up sort of being a rock star completely and go for farming yet, right?
Well, we kind of became farmers. It's a strange thing, and that was quite hard to explain to some of our friends in the animal community. See, it's hard for Robert to explain why he's talking to rock stars and whatever. It's hard for me to explain to some people why I'm on a dairy farm at all, but we're there to find the truth. And we found it beyond our wildest dreams. We found where the problems are. And when you know what you're dealing with, if you know your enemy, you can defeat him.
Absolutely that.
Absolutely.
It's like you say, it's so nice to have you here. And so, you know, when we see you, we obviously think of your work on stage, and it's so...
Yeah, there is
obviously,
that.
everybody has their other passions.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's good to see you here and sharing this with us, because this has bypassed me. I was completely unaware of this until meeting you today.
Good to make people aware of it. So we really appreciate you coming in. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's precious to me that you give me this time to just get people's imagination.
You're very
pricked,
welcome.
you know.
Thank
so
you.
Tonight,
So the Brian May, the Badgers, the Farmers and Me is at 9 p.m. tonight on BBC Two and iPlayer, so give that a watch.
bless you, John.
Thank you. Well done.
Pleasure, Brian. Thank you so much.